Are there prompt engineering rules or best practices to help validate the accuracy of data included in the content? And is there a way to avoid controversial topics or inappropriate language? I've never seen an inappropriate language come out of one of these before.
Don't use grok. That's if you want to avoid inappropriate language, just don't use yeah, grok. Um,
Okay, so prompt engineering rules or best practices.
yes. So definitely. This is an evolving area. So early in 2023, there was all this buzz about like, is prompt engineering going to be like a role in a company? Are we going to have like prompt engineers as marketers? And my feeling was always like, no, like this isn't going to be a thing. It's going to be a skill set. And what's going to happen and what is happening is that the AI is going to get better at improving our prompts. So we're seeing this now. Like if you go into ChatGPT, you can ask it to write you a prompt for something. If you give it an image generation prompt in ChatGPT Plus, it rewrites that prompt to be way better than what you're going to give it. So there is the fact that the AI is going to get better at improving your prompt. That's going to dramatically reduce the need for us to get really good at prompting. However, we are seeing right now that certain approaches to prompting do create better outputs. So the advice I often give people without getting into like all the steps, I think we have an episode where we got into like all the actual steps that OpenAI recommends. Ethan Malik had a great post about it. The simplest way to think about this is you are giving a project to a really smart intern. Describe what you want from them the way you would to a human. So, hey, here's the project. Here's the parameters of the project. Here's what we want the output to be. Here's 3 examples of previous outputs of this exact thing. If you just do that, you will get better outputs from the AI. You'll also eventually see that things like telling the AI to take its time, or telling it to think through it step by step, or telling it to check its work. Like, for example, in DALI 3, when using ChatGPT Plus, if you wanted to have words in the image, tell it to check its spelling before it creates the output, and it will. Again, it's like weird stuff. And the only way to figure this stuff out is to continually test these tools yourself. You cannot just go and listen to a podcast or read some stuff and think you understand it. The nuances are kind of unique sometimes, and you got to figure out what those are. So, again, the high level, talk to it like a human, as weird as that sounds, you will get better outputs from the machine.
So part of that question included, can you use the tools to check the accuracy of the data? And no, right? I mean,
I
I
wouldn't
definitely
rely on it
a
for that.
human is needed for that part of it.
Anything that is like important that you're going to use in a research report or an internal reports or like something like that, the human still has to check the work. Like the AI is getting really good at data analysis and narratives of data, but it does still hallucinate, and it does it in very subtle ways sometimes. And it may be like 98% right. And you check, eight out of 10 things. That's good. Like I don't need to check the rest. And the mistake may be in the 10th one. So, yeah, you can't rely on it for things that have a high risk, like if it's going to be wrong. Um, and so data would be the same way right now. Now, they may resolve that in future versions, but there's no indication it's going to be fixed next year, that we're just going to be able to rely on these things 100%. But the way I think about this is, you can't rely on humans 100%. Humans make mistakes with data all the time, but you still check the work. So almost think about it like if you're asking it to write a report on your analytics, for example, and you're the director or the VP, and you're the one that's responsible for handing it to the CEO. And if it's something wrong, it's on you, not the junior person who did it. That's basically how you have to treat the system. You have to check these things the way you would if you're standing behind that work as this is accurate, then you have to go through the same process you would as if an intern did it for you.
Absolutely.